My boss used ChatGPT to deny my raise, so I read his prompt to the CISO and got him fired. I was sitting in a Monday morning performance review, reading the last page of a 3-page document my manager had printed and slid across the table at me, when I found the sentence that ended his career. It was in tiny font, right at the bottom. Easy to miss if you weren't the kind of person who reads everything. I am exactly the kind of person who reads everything. My name is John. I'm 31 years old. I'm a senior software engineer at a mid-sized SaaS company that builds infrastructure tooling for financial services clients, the kind of company where the code is valuable, the clients are institutional, and the NDAs are not decorative. I've been here for 4 years. In those 4 years I have shipped more features, closed more critical bugs, and mentored more junior engineers than anyone else at my level on the team. I have the commit history to prove it. I have the deployment logs. I have the incident response tickets where my name is the one that shows up at 2 in the morning when something breaks in production. I don't say any of that to sound arrogant. I say it because it's documented, time-stamped, reviewable by anyone with repository access. The work exists and it is not subtle. My manager's name was Greg. I want to be careful here about how I describe Greg, because I've spent the last several hours being interviewed by people in HR and legal and I've had to be precise and professional in those rooms, and I want to give him a fair characterization even now. Greg was, professionally, a vapor. He had the title of engineering manager. He had the salary that came with it. He had the calendar full of one-on-ones and the standing meeting on Thursday afternoons and the habit of repeating back things engineers told him in stand-up as though he had generated the insight himself. He was not technically incompetent in the aggressive way. He wasn't breaking things or making catastrophically bad calls. He was incompetent in the ambient way, the way that is actually harder to address because it produces nothing large enough to point it directly. He had never, in 4 years, written a line of code in our codebase. He had never reviewed a PR with any comment more substantive than LGTM. He had never attended a system design meeting and contributed a single architectural thought. What he had done, consistently and with some dedication, was attend leadership offsites, give presentations that featured our team's metrics as though they were his metrics, and cultivate relationships with the 2 levels of management above him with the specific energy of a man who understood that his survival depended entirely on visibility rather than output. I had made peace with Greg. Not the warm peace of genuine respect, but the functional peace of a man who has decided that his manager is a weather pattern, something to work around, not something to engage with directly. That peace lasted until this morning. Q1 performance review season. I had been anticipating this one since January because the numbers were undeniable. I had led the migration of our core authentication service to a new framework, a project that had been estimated at 6 months and which I had delivered in 14 weeks while simultaneously maintaining our standard sprint commitments. The client impact was measurable. A 40% reduction in authentication latency, 0 downtime during the migration window, 3 institutional clients who sent formal commendations that went to our VP of product. I had documented all of it. I had a 1-page summary prepared. I had practiced, not because I was nervous, but because I am the kind of person who prepares. I walked into Greg's office at 9 a.m. with my folder and my coffee and the specific internal steadiness of someone who believes they have done the work and the work will speak. Greg was already seated. He had a printed document in front of him, 3 pages, face down, which struck me as slightly odd. Most review materials in our company live in the HR portal. Printing was unusual. John, he said. Good. Close the door. I closed the door. I sat across from him. So, he said. He picked up the papers, didn't hand them to me yet, looked at the top page with the expression of a man reading something for the first time while trying to appear familiar with it. I've had a chance to go through your year, and I want to give you some honest feedback. What you're about to hear is the story of a software engineer who sat down for a Monday morning performance review expecting a raise he'd earned, and got handed 3 printed pages that were about to change everything. Not because of what they said about him, but because of what they accidentally revealed about the man sitting across the desk. For full version, follow on-screen instructions.